Hello everybody, this is kungfubellydancer. I know you haven't heard much from me in a while, but today I bring you a project that I've been working on for a while. This thing is called Jade Springs. It's named after my stepson. But it's a little mod I've been working on for a couple years now, and it was meant to be a personal project, but I ended up making it a lot bigger than I initially anticipated. And what it is that you find this city and it's full of vampires and various weird things. And it begins by finding this little ghost and these dead bodies outside of cell, if I can remember, it was 1 negative 10. So if you guys are playing this mod, make sure you type in COE 1 negative 10 into the console in order to teleport to this exterior location. And that's where you can begin this mod. And as you can see, I just recently picked up the little journal entry and I was able to enter Blue Grotto. One of the things I struggled with in this mod is the fact that it was a little dark. Everything was supposed to be kind of gothy, and I just kind of didn't exactly liberally apply light to everything. So it's important that when you play this, you pick up all the candles and light sources and lanterns and all that shit that you might find. I made quite a few of them, actually. Of course, random rogue vampires and things show up and you can kill them. Of course, some of them look really similar to each other. Please don't mind me, my character is like really low level. Which is like basic shit. Now because of the size of this mod, I didn't really get I didn't get it to a complete state by any means. But I thought it was time to release it to the public. So I figured you guys could help me along the way to finish this thing. It was fun while I was making it, and I did put a lot of time and effort into it. So here I was supposed to put in a series of locked doors, but the scripts insist on not working. So as you can see here, there's a kind of a door kind of off to the side, which, you know, kind of a placeholder, but I didn't want the play testers to get stuck behind it. But the idea was that you're supposed to pick up these journal entries and keys, but I'm not really much of a scripter, so I couldn't really get them to do what I wanted to. And here's another one of these journal entries. I try to be, I don't exactly pride myself on being all that funny, but I did try to make this thing a little entertaining. Like this dude here who, no matter what your dialogue option, is going to result in combat with him. Good luck trying to convince somebody of anything. Like I said, this place was occupied by mostly insane people. Alright, well, he had a custom key, and that was supposed to open that door, but, you know, as you can just bypass that, as none of those locked doors are working. Of course, as you can see, Blue Grotto is pretty, undeveloped. There isn't hardly much to look at. But after you pass this initial area, you should be able to get to Jade Springs. I'm not sure what the deal is with this red imp, but I just could not make contact with him. Time to run like hell. Of course, just like there's rogue vampire, there's also going to be violent necromancers and other strange things, as you will see here soon. I understand that this area is frustratingly dark. I'll work on that as I go. Of course, everybody loves to be trapped underwater. As you can see, it's a lot of custom textures went into these models. I put a lot of time and effort into making the custom textures. Maybe not necessarily the stairwell right now, but further into the jail you'll see what I mean. I really love the combination of black and white. Now, I did have more than just the male Nord vampires. I'm not sure why it's only spawning them, but there's supposed to be a few other genders and races. Once you get past this guard, you should be able to proceed into the castle of Jade Springs once you get through the jail. I really like the Tyreal armor mod, and it was released as a, I guess, model texture pack, so I custom colored them to be like black and purple. You know, special for Jade Springs and all that gothy shit. Speaking of goth, this mod was very much inspired by Carl, and I don't even make that a secret by any means. As you guys may be familiar with Carl, he passed away, but he was the developer of Morrowind the Underground, one of my favorite mods ever, and I played the shit out of that back in 2004, 2005, whenever it was released. And of course it left an impression on me, and I decided to honor him throughout this mod, making it, you know, loosely inspired by him and stuff like that. I was very sad when I heard he had passed. So, you know, eventually, as I work through here, most of these cells will have NPCs in them. There'll be more interaction. Right now, all the guards are just telling me to go talk to the Queen and King. So we're gonna go through this door. And here we go, into the castle. So you found your way into Jade Springs through Blue Grotto. You should come into this large room. Of course, I love horses, so my horse statue had to be here. Everything's purple and black. And as you can see, there are some missing doors, and I will eventually fill in those spaces with blocked doors that would disappear once you've actually spoken to the Queen and King. Here's an example of a blocked one that's actually working, but most of the other ones are missing. So don't fall through them when you're playing, but understand that they are missing for a reason, because you're not meant to advance past this until you've talked to the Queen. And here they are, of course, with missing models. A lot of the models and textures in this mod were unfortunately left behind on another laptop that I was originally working on this mod on. And I'm sorry, but I had released this with the missing textures and models, so you will have to deal with it. Sorry. some of the dialogue is broken in this mod, and you'll discover that as you go. So if you happen to see something that isn't working, feel free to make a list. It's really hard for me to keep track of all the dialogue options that are broken. If you guys can help in any way, that'd be great. So as you can see, now the guards are actually talking to me. When you go back into the castle, the doors should have spawned. It's all by scripts, and like I said, I'm kind of terrible at scripting, so if any of you guys have advanced knowledge on scripting, I'd be happy to listen. So here we go into the exterior of Jade Springs. Now, just like my animations, I mostly developed this with, scene building as a technique. There isn't actually a landmass here. You'll be familiar with it if you've played Tribunal. It's kind of the same sort of style where it's interior cells that imitate exterior cells. Of course, that's all modder stuff and doesn't really, it shouldn't matter too much to you guys, but of course that was the fruit cellar, and I made like a lot of custom fruits and things that were related to blood or something gruesome like that. So you'll come across a lot of weird foods and stuff. That butterfly that's flying around is obviously missing his textures, but here we go into Jade Springs, Maine. I'm gonna wait for the door to take its sweet ass time to load. And you'll notice that there's a lot of custom music in this mod. Unfortunately, they tend to stream at full volume. So RIP you guys' ears. If it's too much of a problem, you're welcome to actually delete or rename the music folder, because it's gonna get frustrating for you guys. This music was royalty-free music developed by a couple people, such as Darren Curtis and whoever on the internet. After a while, I'll be able to compile a complete list of credits. There should be a lot of credits, especially when it comes to music and a lot of the models. I borrowed a few models from Tamriel Rebuilt, as well as, of course, the Underground that I mentioned earlier, and Glory Road, which I also highly recommend. If you guys haven't played Glory Road, you should do that. And then, of course, our queen had sent us to go talk to Dianya the sorceress. Her dialogue is broken, so I'll fix that as soon as I can. Because you can see here she's trying to tell you about Jade in Essence, but then you can't actually click it, so I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm listening.
So pretty much the main quest is incomplete, and you probably won't be able to advance any further than this point. But of course the mod and its locations are all open, and as I progress, most places will start getting sort of becoming exclusive to only after like you've completed certain quests or whatever. But right now it's just open, so you're welcome to explore. You can look around in people's bedrooms and shit, like they give a as if they care in this game. Of course, everybody's missing face textures and things. That's gonna happen. Miss Palika over here is not really supposed to be standing in front of her table, but for some reason she keeps doing that. And for the sake of time and not wanting to spoil everything, I did not go into most of these locations, but you're welcome to on your own. So here we go into the Desert Rose, and this is a belly dancing tavern. And this should be, there is a bedroom here that you are welcome to stay in, but of course the door script is broken, so you won't actually be able to rent it. You could just go up there and put your stuff in the bedroom. So here's our dancers. You can hear a lot of the sound effects and things that I've added into the game. custom clothes, and most of these are Neoliv's texture. I'm sorry, models, her clothing models. I really was a fan of her work, and I did a lot of custom textures and clothes, as you can see. There's some art by Frank Frazetta, one of my favorite artists. You can talk to Ara, the owner, and she will. And her servant over here is will ask you to kill a rat up in the room. Of course, I'm just kind of meandering through this place without any real purpose. I'm sure you can tell by my namesake, but I was a huge fan of Arabic style music and dancing and things, and some of that went into this mod as well. I guess I was kind of going for a 1001 Nights thing. Now, I didn't demonstrate it here, but you can find a djinn, or a genie, excuse me, and go to his bottle and stuff. So this is the baths, and Jade Springs is supposed to be full of clean, fresh water. And so you'll see pipes kind of running along the walls and things all over the place. And these guys up here just enjoy swimming. And I don't know if you guys have ever gone to a hot springs or anything like that, but I would recommend it. The last time I was at a hot springs was in the Middle East. Of course, the water was too hot for me, but I guess if you're dead, that shouldn't be a problem. Residents come here to do their laundry. And then up here, there's a custom Daedra model. I did not make this Daedra model. This was, I'm sorry, but I forget who created this. I'll have to make a credit list, but the Daedra textures I really liked, and so I added them as a custom race to this mod. And here's the royal courtyard. I mean, I'm sorry, not the royal courtyard, but the menagerie. And I'm not really sure what the I'm not really sure what the purpose of this place is going to be, other than just for looks.
What does it ask?
I mean, I'm open to ideas, so you're welcome to let me know. The clothes that this guy has on are modified textures from I think it was Clothers of Vardenfell was the mod that I believe that they originated from. Of course, there's more horses, unicorns. I just love horses, so you're gonna see plenty of that in here.
Stay out of trouble and you'll have none from me.
Because I love demon horses. And this birdcage was supposed to make sound, but again, some of my scripts are not working. You guys are welcome to look at that. This lady here was obviously a reference to Miss Levitt from Sweeney Todd. If you haven't seen that, you're gonna see plenty of references to movies and things like that. Everybody has tattoos, including the horses. And then up there you can see a scripted clock, which doesn't necessarily keep the time, but it looks good. Again, it's its own mod, and it's available, I believe, on the Nexus. So these doors here were supposed to be locked. You weren't supposed to enter the sewers until you've reached a certain point, but again, it's all open. So the further down underground you go in Jade Springs, the darker and more, I guess, threatening the people can be. Here's a male prostitute. There will be prostitutes that spawn. the idea was that you could hire them for services. Of course, there aren't any like actual animations or anything, but you know, screen fade in, fade out kind of thing is what you would experience with the prostitutes. Those signs, I actually forget what they wrote, but if you translate them, they said a message. I'll have to look it up for you. But you'll see a lot of things written in Daedric, and they most certainly will say something in English if you translate them. Again, I try to be funny, but it's usually lost on people, so... So, Lost Souls, the shoe store, and then the Pet Shop of Horrors will eventually have actual purchasable pets, kind of like the rats in Tribunal, but I did want them to be actual companions. Here's a tattoo shop. The idea was that everybody in Jade Springs gets their tattoos in there. And you can see more of the pipes that were powered by the crystals that were everywhere. And then here we are at the bottom of the subterranean. And those rotating spike things are actually the Jade Springs teleportation system, which does actually work. You have to talk to Dianya, the sorceress, for a teleportation amulet, and then you should be able to use it. That way you don't have to keep going through all these cells. And then this place should have its own custom music, but I haven't added it yet. But this is the Velvet Epitaph, and it's run by Pianist, the deer god over there. But she's sexy. I've always been a fan of her scene, or however you pronounce it. He's so sexy. So there he is, standing there with his faceless servant. Of course, I had to stand here and stare at him for a little bit. Yes, thank you, Pandus. There is a quest where you can meet Pianist in his private quarters, you know, and unfortunately, that's not shown in this demo. But if you can begin that quest by talking to the lady up at the Two Moons magic shop. And here we're entering Euphoria, the, I guess, opium tavern, or opium den, if you will. And everything's rainbow colored, and of course it's run by the lesbian cat lady up there. You can visit her girlfriend in there, and she has a quest for you in the door behind her, but for the sake of time we did not go to that room in this demonstration. And you can get your drugs from her and alcohol and whatever. I love rainbows, so I had to make a place that had rainbows. So we're going to continue on through the subterranean. A lot of the residents, a lot of the darker residents live down here. And then this is the Candyman, yet another drug dealer. Openly selling drugs where it's legal here in this town. Wouldn't that be nice? And then here's another hostile person. She's, what did I call her? An intoxicated streetwalker, I guess. And she and their male variants do attack you. They should be safe to kill, but occasionally you get your crime reported, and I'm really sorry, I don't know how to get around that. They're not supposed to report your crime. So if they do, just you're gonna have to avoid them or something. There's I guess a distance of 256 units before they become hostile. They're scripted enemies. And then this is the bazaar, which is like the less refined version of the shopping area on the surface of Jade Springs.
Nice to
This
see
lady
you.
here sells bedrolls, which the idea was that you could carry them around, but unfortunately it's dependent on dependent on a script that of course doesn't work. And here's another one of the hostile prostitute ladies. And this is another nightclub called the Nightcrawler Inn. It's not necessarily related to Nightcrawler, the superhero villain. And then here you'll... She's not supposed to look like that, but a lot of faces just aren't working in this mod. You can probably notice that I've planned the spaces a little badly, where it's kind of hard to navigate through them, but just gonna have to make do for now. And this place is still pretty undeveloped, in which there's not really a whole lot of patrons, but most of these empty cells will be filled up. And then down here you can talk to the officer located here, and he's a direct reference to the movie The Wicker Man. And I don't mean the one Nicolas Cage, fuck that one, but I'm talking about the old one. If you have not seen the original Wicker Man with Christopher Lee, then you really should. I remember Miss Alien Sloth was a fan of Christopher Lee, and although I didn't use many models from her because she simply doesn't allow her models to be used, I tried to reference her as well because I was a great fan of Alien Sloth. I highly recommend downloading her mods. Again, more of the being blocked into places. I'll fix those and over time as I get to them. Okay, so this is the pump room, and the idea was that it was like a Dwemer ruin. And it's due to the pump rooms that a lot of the pipes actually work and the waters flow. I tried to make everything make sense. You know, if water's flowing, then there has to be a pump room somewhere. It's got to be in operation. And this ghost here is the one responsible for it, and he'll tell you his story. Then down that hallway there was going to be Dwemer ruins that you could fight through, but of course that's yet incomplete. And then here we go back into the sewers. And the sewers are divided into three parts. There's the central, south, and north. And they all contain various enemies and locations that you can get to. I did want most of these places to be quite sprawling. It just didn't seem like it'd be too fun if you could just directly access every single place, so I had to make it very complex. You may end up lost in some of these, but of course the sixth house does try to make its presence here, and for the most part they're accepted and welcomed in Jade Springs, but a few of them can be hostile, as well as any of the vampires or anything like that. So here's another example of a place that's blocked that you should be able to access if you have the right quest, but another vampire lady. Like I said earlier, they were supposed to spawn in different races and genders, so I guess it's kind of working right now, but I don't know. Now you notice a lot of the mushrooms and stuff glowing, and glowing flowers and things. Those coda flowers, if you look at them, there's a chance of a torch spawning, like an actual carryable coda flower, and that will help you with some of the dark areas around here. This place is called Mortuary Path, and it leads from the Jade Springs Hospital to the crypt. Figured this would be the path that you would take to deliver the dead to its final resting place. The crypt is no exception when it comes to references to real life people. And a few dead people are referenced here. There's a beautiful angel statue, which I believe was made by Mighty Joe Young, but I don't remember. And then beyond here is the graveyard. Of course, again, this is all scene build. Had a few textures and models for the ground. And this fountain is supposed to be animated, but I'm not quite sure how to get it to be animated, so if anyone can help me. I know that it supports its own animation. I guess the model has its own animation, but I didn't know how to do that. The bats are not meant to be white, it's just a missing texture. And all the graves are also missing textures. But after a while I would put custom messages on all the graves. And this guy here, the Crypt Keeper, is a reference to Romero from Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, which was in turn a reference to George R. Romero, the director. And then I was going to have him do a quest kind of similar to the one in Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, where he asks you to help him with the spawning of zombies, but that quest hasn't been developed yet. Of course, this beautiful crossbow model I think was also developed by Mighty Joe Young, but again I can't remember at this point. And my character is pathetically bad at marksman, so unfortunately I wasn't able to really demonstrate how it worked. I'm sure you might have noticed, but my character is missing a lot of things that he actually picked up earlier in this demo. It's because the demo did crash. Morrowind crashed actually while I was filming this, so I went back to having nothing again. This is the chapel, Jade Springs Chapel, and they come here to, I guess, worship that crystal and their statues and stuff like that. Or if they don't worship any of those, they can worship whoever they want to. And the Sixth House have their own little room down at the bottom. Here we are back in the Jade Springs town. You can see how everything kind of circled all the way back around. I did intend for the mod to be connected in various ways, and as you play, you should be able to unlock all the various exits and tunnels and stuff. And then theoretically, you should also have the teleportation amulet to help you again, like to go to the the portal spawns and stuff like that. You can see I have a lot of dancers and beautiful women and men in this mod. I do love dancing, so of course if I could have a chance to add dancing, I would. And here's this little Asian ship. These two people don't really have a purpose at the moment, but I would, if I get an idea for a quest, I would certainly add that to this place. But for now, it's just kind of all eye candy at the moment. So we're gonna go back. That's the bookshop ahead of us. And I had in mind to show you the school, which you're about to enter. We're back to the courtyard. And that quest that you picked up from the officer a little bit ago, he asked you to investigate a missing girl, and you're supposed to come in here and ask questions about it, but it seems like the dialogues aren't working yet again. So yeah, with all the children that I added to the mod, it would only make sense that there would be a school. And in the school, you can learn how to make bonsai plants, how to make candles, how to make urns for the ashes of your dead family members. And of course, there's a little dancing studio down in the basement. This teacher isn't really giving me information that I need. So here's that candle making crafting class. I figured all the gothy children should learn very gothy activities. Like painting, drawing, art, music. This place is still incomplete, so as you can see by the next room, this classroom is pretty empty except for the professor. I kind of like the music in this place. It kind of makes me happy. Here's that little dance studio. And the boys and girls here are learning how to dance. And by their Daedra dancing teacher, but he himself is just walking in the bar. Bathroom. Because of all the water and pipes here, Jade Springs is lucky enough to have actual plumbing. And that concludes the demo for today. Thank you guys for watching. And I'll include the download link. And again, you guys are totally welcome to play this and to, tell me what you think. If you guys can produce bug fixes or scripts, that's even more wonderful. If you guys have things to contribute like models, textures, music, I'm totally I would appreciate it so much. Once again, thank you guys and have a good day.